Hello to all of you viewers of Equinoxe Television. We thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the news. Horror in the Makobe village in the Kondo Titi subdivision of the Southwest region. The decomposed bodies of 5 of the 6 delegates who were kidnapped and later killed by alleged separatist fighters in Ndan have been exhumed by gendarmes in the Southwest region. Their remains, which are just skeletons, will be handed over to the families subsequently. It has been total shock and disbelief among the families of the murdered victims, and now over to Niger. ECOWAS will not be invading Niger or make use of force to release President Mohamed Bazoum. The one-week ultimatum given to the military junta is over. The president of the West African body, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, announces today that another summit has been slated for Abuja on August 10. Viewers, those are our major stories. Stay with us for details and more. Welcome back, viewers. We sincerely apologize for this late start of the news. We go right away to our major lead story, one of them, shock and disbelief as the remains of 5 of the 6 divisional delegates who were kidnapped and killed by alleged separatist fighters led by General Ten Kobo have been exhumed in an operation that took place over the weekend in Kondo Titi in the southwest region of the country. The remains were taken out from Kondo Titi by the gendarme officers and will be handed over to the families that will be subsequently. In the report which comes up next, our reporter Innocent Aze tells us detailing or recount how the operation went on in the Makobe village.
Barrack that was building your hideout. Hideout, that is where we take them go. Yes. So actually the people in diaspora actually say that Tenkobo should kill the 6 delegates so that they are going to crown him the free marshal of Njan division. So actually you have to do it and make it a video.
It all started with the confession of this repentant separatist fighter, 24 years old Clinton, about 2 months ago, right before the SDO from a May division to Undong Chamberlain.
We have to dig a grave there to bury him there. And that was being a secret, nobody to say anything.
With all the informations or top secrets revealed, the military in the southwest region began mobilizing and drafting plans to descend to the set camp where the 6 kidnapped Njan divisional delegates were killed and buried.
Yes, the government have ordered the exhumation. The SDO is there. The governor have done everything so that that mission can be fulfilled.
Sunday, August 6, 2023, the military stormed the camp in Makobe, about 20 kilometers from Kondo Titi, passing through a flooded thick forest under rain with this river to cross. A cumbersome and risky journey. At a certain point, they had to stop and rest for a while in a hut. They continued the journey and finally arrived at the site, abandoned after an operation that led to the killing of General Ten Kobo.
This is a place.
While at the site, they started digging the grave in which 5 of the 6 divisional delegates were buried to exhume their remains. Clinton gave them the right information. The remains and skeletons of the delegates were dug out and sealed in plastic bags. One of them was quickly identified, the lone female delegate, from her hair.
We dig the hole and we find the 5 head and a lot of bones and some clothes. And here we found 5 delegates buried at this, about 1 month after the kidnapping. One of them had been killed at Kita and dropped on the road by some of terrorists. The terrorists were led by 10 covers.
End of the exhumation, the military heads back to base through the same tedious conditions.
The next in the procedure is that we bring the remnant of the court to in town, in Limbe, in Boya, so that the family can be handed over for mourning ceremonies.
What makes it tougher is energy lost and the load remains of the 5 divisional delegates they have to transport.
We have done what we were supposed to do, and I think that it was very difficult, but we have done it. I'm also proud of that. All my elements have come out safe. Nobody is left in the bush. I want to extend my condolences to the family of the deceased.
If they abandoned a corpse in the bush, it is that of the killed General Ten Kobo, who carried out the execution of the 6 divisional delegates.
Ten Kobo, who was supposed to be in Nigeria, we discovered that his grave was also not far from the grave of those 5 delegates.
It should be recalled, the 6 Njan divisional delegates were kidnapped on June 15, 2021. They were Elvis Mambe Ebaku of State Property, Land Tenure and Surveys, Felicia Ndong, Housing and Urban Development, Emmanuel Elad of Water and Energy Resources, Christian Bida Arman of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Social Economy and the Handicraft, Stephen Agbo Nyenti, Divisional Chief of Service for Survey, and Johnson Mabia Modika of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, killed on June 18, 2021, 3 days after they were abducted by the armed separatists. Many Cameroonians, including civil society leaders and the political class, criticized the Yaoundé administration for never commenting on the disappearance of these state workers.
The Anglophone crisis seems to be far from being over, as thousands of lives have been lost already. Several society leaders say the silence of the government over the kidnapping and killing of 6 government officials in the Indian division shows that Cameroonians are living in total insecurity, not only in the crisis-hit northwest and southwest regions, but also in the other 8 regions of the country. One of them, Emmanuel Deun, spoke to our reporter Babila Jonathan after the military discovered and exhumed the corpses of the officials kidnapped in 2021.
2 years after they were kidnapped in Masure Balwe village in a Kondo Titi subdivision, the discovery of their remains ascertains their death. The macabre discovery of the bones of the 5 Indian divisional delegates and the chief of service by the military comes without a statement from the Cameroon government. Despite the general outcry by national and international rights defenders, government has not said a word.
It is sorrowful and sad because this is a thing that could be avoided. And the silence of the government over it makes the matters worse. Somewhere, somehow, I've been asking myself a question. Just assume that the 6 Indian delegates were the sons and the daughter of the President of the Republic, President Paul Biya. Are you sure the same silence would have been maintained? Just imagine that the 6 Indian, whom today are in memory, were the sons and daughter of Paul Atanganji, the Minister of Territorial Administration, or the sons of the Minister of Defense, whom I know somehow, somewhere he has been doing a great job, would this kind of silence be maintained?
To civil society leader Ndiwum Emmanuel, this reveals the actual situation. This reveals the actual state of affairs in the crisis-stricken northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, in sharp contrast to government authorities' regular statements suggesting that the situation is under control.
If such people could go missing without any gendarme, without any police, without any military escort, and we have not had any official standpoint from the government telling us maybe why such a thing happened, then it goes a long way to tell us that we are practically in insecurity.
He urges governments to stop propaganda and engage in what he qualifies as a real peace process. According to him, the only way to restore peace and normalcy in the Anglophone regions is the way of truth and sincerity.
And now English-speaking publishers in Cameroon have joined their voices calling on the government to look into their plight, considering the fact that the Anglophone crisis has had an impact on English print media, who daily have struggled to report on happenings plaguing the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon since the Anglophone crisis kicked off. Our reporter Lucy Liengu Asia spoke with Nga Christian, president of the Cameroon English Language Newspaper Publishers Association, and compared this report for the news.
From 2016, the Anglophone crisis has cost the lives of about 6,000 people, with almost 600,000 displaced. Beside the enormous loss in human lives, the crisis, now armed conflict, has left a devastating impact on the economy and social life in the two English-speaking regions. It has equally been a worry to the English language print media, who time to time have reported via publishing articles related to killings, attack, murder, insecurity in the two English-speaking regions. The president of Cameroon English Language Newspaper Publishers Association, SEMPA, and same-time publisher at the Guidance Post newspaper, Nga Christian Bibgo, says the Anglophone crisis has affected English language publishers.
Print media, newspapers, propagating their imaginary independence dream. But since we have stayed away from this, they have targeted us in one way or the other. They go on the social media asking Anglophones no longer to read English language newspapers because we have refused to align with their project of secession.
Equally, work has been done to keep the English language print media standing.
Just like any other company in the Northwest, but as is that we are suffering because we have refused to stand by the dictates of separatists. And even those who are publishing, I don't know, they have to take loans on very high interest rates, hoping that things will come back to normal. But, I don't know for how long we are going to go. Salaries are no longer being paid to our staff. We are unable to pay even our family bills. That is at one level the crisis has reduced us to.
It is therefore time for the Cameroonian government to look into the plight of English publishers.
We want the head of state to look into our issue, create a special fund to bail out the dying Anglophone media, to rescue the dying Anglophone media. That is my cry. That is the cry of Anglophones who read and like to read English language newspapers.
This will guarantee a future for English publishers in Cameroon. The Anglophone crisis has been a call for concern to everyone who have been directly or indirectly affected.
Hopefully, a lasting solution be sought to the Anglophone crisis. And now we take you to the West region. Danger looms along the Rompon patchy stretch of road in Bafang in the West region of Cameroon. An inclined electricity pole is putting the population at risk of electrocution. Locals express disdain over the nonchalant attitude of the workers of the electricity distribution company, who haven't reacted promptly despite being informed of the danger. Immaculate Fogo explains to us the challenges faced by the population due to the absence of electricity.
A trader dealing with perishable products in Bafang, precisely at Rompoint Bashi in the West region, lamenting over enormous losses incurred due to the absence of electricity in the area for the past 3 days. Look at my fish, all of it is bad. I spent a lot for it. Even yogurt that I kept in the fridge is now bad. Owners of grinding mills, carpentry and welding workshops are now sitting idle in their shops, expecting a miracle. We cannot do anything. We just come and sit and pray that electricity be reinstated. Economic activities are now on standstill. How will we provide for our families? The blackout is being blamed on this inclined electric pole, which is putting the lives of those using the stretch of road at risk of a possible electrocution. This electric pole has been like this for the past 3 days. We have been to the electricity distribution company, but they have given us a deaf ear. This is the rainy season and we know how dangerous it could be if someone gets in contact with such cables. Locals are sending distress calls to electricity distribution company to intervene and not wait for someone to die first.
And now we take you to the southwest region, I beg your pardon. CDC workers are being faced with threats in carrying out their work by those who have reportedly encroached, and the FACO administration says drastic measures shall be implemented if the chief of TICO continues to encroach into the land belonging to the CDC without due procedure. Let's now have more with our southwest-based correspondent, Davidson Maimo.
Ça veut dire que les gens qui sont ici.
Bon, posez-nous pour le titre d'État. Il y a les coordonnées, non? Oui, il y a les coordonnées. Posez les coordonnées alors. Ok, on commence. Ok.
The encroachment into an area reserved as CDC Banana Buffer Zone with allegation of some persons threatening the lives of CDC workers with guns was a push factor that took FACO senior divisional officer to the field. Satellite demarcation by the team of surveyors from CDC and the state show proof of the demarcated area. It was settled that nobody should construct within 150 meters from the banana plantation, serving as a buffer zone for CDC area spraying.
The injunction order is maintained on this 150 meters buffer. I'm going for that.
In a meeting that follows suit at the divisional office of TICO, presentations of all sorts of documents from the traditional leader of TICO on the TICO community and CDC land saga did not yield any fruit. The SEO made it categorical. The Minister of State Property and Land Tenure had long cancelled the land title of the TICO community. Thus, the land in question belonged to the CDC and no one should dare trespass.
We have a letter that was written by the minister.
It's not a problem, a letter. Go and see the deal. It's the problem of...
We have been with the deal for several times.
Le problème qui est ici, c'est que les gens, dès qu'ils ont écrit au ministre, ils pensent que c'est déjà une propriété. Ils n'attendent même pas la réponse du ministre. Il a expliqué ici, non? Il y avait un titre.
Yes,
on a annulé.
Yes, sir.
Bon, quand on a annulé...
There is another letter, sir.
On a écrit pour dire que on doit trouver un délai en compensation.
Yes, à la and it's more than a year now.
Mais vous avez un délai. Avant le serein, vous ne viviez pas. Il ne faut pas exagérer.
We are living
mais alors,
but we are following the law.
Attends, vous voulez faire la pression à qui? S'ils ont pris l'argent chez les gens, qui vient donc faire pression à ce que vraiment aider-nous à trouver rapidement un site pour nous, vous êtes quand même nos enfants et tout. C'est un problème de droit et c'est clair. Pour le moment, il n'y a pas un titre là-bas, c'est le terrain de la CDC. La CDC exploite son terrain.
Nonetheless, communicators opine the FACO administration need to be hard, as a good number of those who own parcel of land within the buffer zone are uniformed officers and are already sending threat to anyone who dares try to plant palms within the buffer zone.
And now we take you out of our national frontiers, viewers. Despite threats by ECOWAS to use force on the military junta to release the president of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum. The West African body has decided to give more time to the military junta. In their latest statement, ECOWAS has announced another summit in Abuja that would be on August 10, 2023. The latest statement was signed by the president of the ECOWAS and also president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We shall be coming back to the details in our subsequent news editions. And now from Niger, we take you to Senegal. Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko has been on hunger strike since he was arrested after a 2-year standoff with the government and has been hospitalized. This comes after his lawyer, Juan Branco, was also arrested. Mala Glory with updates from Senegal.
Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko hospitalized a week into prison hunger strike. He has been jailed on charges of calling for insurrection and conspiracy against the state and other charges. The reason for his hospitalization at the main hospital in downtown Dakar is not known to the public. Sonko announced on July 30th on his social media platform that he will start his hunger strike. The announcement came a day after a judge in the capital of Dakar ordered his imprisonment. The latest charges against Sonko came weeks after a judge convicted him in a separate case of corrupting youth and sentenced him to 2 years in prison, which ignited deadly protests across the nation. Last week, at least 4 people died and several were injured in fresh protests after Sonko was detained in prison just outside Dakar. Sonko's health emergency comes today after his lawyer, Juan Branco, was arrested in Mauritania and transferred to Senegal, where he is in Dakar prison, according to report. Juan Branco, French lawyer for Sonko, arrested in Senegal under the influence of an arrest warrant from Senegalese prosecutor's office. The French lawyer was arrested near the border as he sought to discreetly leave Senegal. Juan Branco became famous in Senegal for defending opponent Ousmane Sonko, who was prosecuted in several cases. He drew a lot of attention when he announced a complaint in France and a referral to the International Criminal Court in The Hague against President Macky Sall for crimes against humanity in June. In response, the Senegalese prosecutor's office announced on July 14 that it had opened a judicial investigation and requested an arrest warrant against him based on his writings and words. Despite this, Juan Branco burst into Dakar during press conference of Sonko's party, which had surprised many. Opponent Ousmane Sonko, accused of plotting against institutions, were arrested and imprisoned. His party, the PASTEF, was dissolved by the authorities.
And now we take you onto our sports page, viewers. The under-20 national football team on Sunday made history as they won gold at La Francophonie Games. It was the first time that was happening as Team Cameroon finished third on the overall classification table with 40 medals. Smart Ndikan Gabriel has a review of the performance of Cameroon at the 9th edition of the Games ended on Sunday, that was yesterday.
In Cameroon at La Francophonie ended the 9th edition of the Games in a grand style as the under-20 Lions won gold in the football final. Goals from Peter Nabamkia.
Encore la possibilité et le but! L'ouverture du score signé Peter Nabamkia
and Arthur Avom.
Joué de cette équipe du Cameroun. Arthur Avom et Bong. Et c'est dedans! Arthur Avom qui double la mise pour le Cameroun.
Gave a 2-1 victory over the under-20 Burkina Faso side. Apart from winning gold medal, Cameroon's Arthur Avom was voted as the best player of the football tournament at La Francophonie Games. Before the gold medal in football, Cameroon's women's basketball team missed out on the gold medal as they lost the final match against Senegal 54-78. In a whole, at La Francophonie Games, Team Cameroon got a total of 13 gold, 13 silver and 14 bronze medals, finishing on the 3rd spot out of 26 nations that participated at the Kinshasa Rendezvous. Athletics gave Cameroon most of the medal they won during the games alongside wrestling. Cameroon participated in 7 disciplines: athletics, basketball, football, sports for the physically disabled, judo, wrestling, and table tennis. Team Cameroon at La Francophonie Games in Kinshasa performed better than their participation at the 8th edition of the Games, which took place in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire in 2017, where Cameroon won 21 medals and finished 7th. As the curtains of the Games were lowered over the weekend, the performance of Eseme Emmanuel Alogbede, who created a new record of 10:03 seconds in the men's 100 meters race, the gold medal of the women's 4x100 relay team, and the men's long jump team from Cameroon, who won all medals during the competition, will remain in the memories of the 9th edition of La Francophonie Games.
Thanks, Matt. That report brings us to the end of the news at 6 p.m. on Equinoxe Television. Viewers, we thank you so much for always being with us. Don't go away. You know already our programs continue. The news in the French language is at 8 p.m. and Equinoxe Soir at 7 p.m. Stay with us. Bye-bye for now.